Fine. So about section 13. Section 13 வந்து alteration of MOI. Alteration of MOI வந்து ஃபஸ்ட் வந்து நேம் கிளாஸ் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணோன்னா போர்டு ரெசல்யூஷன் ஸ்பெஷல் போர்டு ரெசல்யூஷன் ஸ்பெஷல் ரெசல்யூஷன் சிஜிஎஸ் அப்ரூவல் ஆர்ஓசிஏ அப்ரூவல். சிஜிஎஸ் அப்ரூவல் என்னது? சிஜிஎஸ் அப்ரூவல்னா such name is not identical, no offense has been committed. first step in alteration of objects. According to section 13.1, the company may be by special resolution after complying with the procedure specified under the section alters provisions of its MOA. Resolution of board of directors. The first step in altering the object is that the board of directors must adopt a resolution that to that effect and convene a general meeting in which the alteration is approved. To convene first one board resolution. To convene a general meeting in which the alteration is approved. Special resolution. Change in object clause can be effected simply by passing a special resolution in the general meeting of the members. Change in object can be effected simply by passing a special resolution in a general meeting in the members. Filing with ROC. Special resolution should be filed with the ROC in the form MGT 14 within 30 days from the date of resolution. Within 30 days from the date of resolution, MGT 14 lo file now. Entry in the register, entry of register of companies by the ROC. The registrar will register the documents. Then only then the alteration will be effective. Okay. ಇದೊಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಪಾತ್ರ. Alteration of objective. Next one, alteration of name. Adhe madam board resolution to convene general meeting with the alteration is approved. Next one, the special resolution to change the name of the company. The change in the name of the company can be simply effected by passing a special resolution at the general meeting. அடுத்து வந்து series approval inform run reservation of unique name which will be reserved for 60 days. After application, ROC will approve. If that is not identical to any of the existing companies, no offense has been committed, then the name is not undesirable. State clause வந்து object class. First on the object class name class, next on the state class. State class இங்கே வருதுன்னா section 13 ல வந்து since the name state from one state to another state போகிறதுனால மொத்தமாக 20 வந்து திரும்ப வரும். என்னது certificate of incorporation புதுசாக வரும். Since the changes in MOI. First வந்து the company must pass a board resolution, special resolution and public notice அடுத்து RT's approval with the consent of the creditor, provision for creditors and security certificate. அதோட எக்ஸாக்ட் தியரி எங்கே இருக்கு? Section 13 provides the process of altering the memorandum since the location of the registrar clause is in the memorandum only names on the state which the registration clause is situated and changing address from Pune to Mumbai. However, under section in order to change the name, change its register office from one state to another, the Companies Act 2013 laid out the following steps and procedure. Resolution of Board of Directors. The first step in changing the register office is the Board of Directors must adopt a resolution to that effect and convene a general meeting in which the members in which the changes approved. Special resolution must be passed by the company in the company's general meeting of the shareholders or the members of central government. The alteration of memorandum regarding to the change in the register office from one state to another shall not have any effect unless it is approved by the central government. However, the power now is delegated to the regional director with notification and application in Form INC 23 in such manner and prescribed under the company rules. Hence, the company have to take the required application The central government powers not. The regional director shall dispose the application within 60 days before passing an order. It must satisfy that alteration in itself has the consent of the creditors, debenture holders, and other persons concerned with the company, or adequate provision has been made by the company either to due discharge, either for the due discharge of their liability. Adequate security has been provided for such discharge. Registration with the company shall file the certified copy of the central government given by the regional director. Order approving the alteration of register of each state in Form NC 28 along with the fees within 30 days from the date of receipt of the certified copy of the order. Who shall register the same? The registrar of the state where the office being shifted. Fresh certification of incorporation indicating the alteration. First, board resolution, board resolution to convene the matter, to convene a general meeting and to resolution for that effect. Second on this, special resolution in the general meeting. Next on the alteration of memorandum regarding the change of the central government, an application to be made to central government. So central government has delegated the power to the regional director along with the prescribed fees and manner. Disposal of application. The regional director shall dispose the application within 60 days from the receipt of such application. If it is satisfied that the consent of creditors has been, debenture holders and others has been concerned with has been acquired, the adequate provision has been made for such made by the company to discharge their liabilities. Adequate securities has been provided for such discharge. The company shall file a certified copy from the central government to the ROC within 30 days of receipt of application, and the registrar and the ROC shall approve the application within 30 days of the receipt of the application. அவ்வளோதான் முடிஞ்சா. அடுத்த செக்ஷன் 12. இது வந்து சேஞ்ச் இன் ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஆஃபீஸ் ஃப்ரம் ஒன் ஸ்டேட் டு அனதர். பார்த்தோமா, இது வந்து வித்தின் ஸ்டேட். If it is within the local limits of city, town, and village, board resolution is sufficient for changing the register office. In case it is outside the local state village limit, ROC வந்து சேமாக இருக்கும்போது board resolution, special resolution approve director ROC file பண்ணலாம். If ROC is different, board resolution, special resolution, CG is approved. CG company shall within 30 days of application, RD shall approve and the company shall within 60 days apply to ROC within 30 days shall approve the application. அவ்வளோதான். Section 14, alteration of MOA. Change in public to private. Special resolution within 30 days apply RG. Okay, RD. அதாவது வந்து பப்ளிக்லேருந்து ப்ரைவேட்னா ஒரு ஸ்டெப் பேக்வேர்டு வராங்க. ஸோ ஸ்பெஷல் ரெசல்யூஷன் ஃபஸ்ட் வந்து போர்ட் ரெசல்யூஷன் நீட் டு பி பாஸ். ஸ்பெஷல் ரெசல்யூஷன் நீட் டு பி within 60 days apply to RD, central government. After approval, within 15 days of receipt of such approval, shall apply to ROC, altered AOA. இப்போ என்னென்ன ஆல்ட்ரேஷன் பண்ணணுமோ அது எல்லாமே எல்லா காப்பிலையும் இன்கார்பரேட் ஆகணும். செக்ஷன் 16, ரெக்டிஃபிகேஷன் ஆஃப் நேம் ஆஃப் த கம்பெனி பை த சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட். வேர் இந்த ஒப்பீனியன் In the opinion of the central government is identical with the name of a company which has been previously registered, it may direct the company to change the name. Then the company shall, by passing an ordinary resolution, change the name within 3 months. If the name which is according to section 16 of Companies Act, if a company if a company is registered by a name which is in opinion of the central government is identical with the name of the company which has been previously registered, it may direct the company to change the name. Then within the company shall, by passing an ordinary resolution, change its name within 3 months. நார்மலாக ஸ்பெஷல் ரெசல்யூஷன் பாஸ் பண்ணோம். ஆனால் இந்த இதில் மட்டும் ஆர்டினரி ரெசல்யூஷனே போகும். According to section 16, if a company registered by name is identical with the registered trademark and the owner of the trademark applies to the central government within 3 years of incorporation of the company, it may direct to change the name. Shall change the name. அதே மாதிரி 3 months இது பண்ணுவோம். The company shall give the notice along with the order. Section 17 is among derivative members within 7 days. Section 80 conversion of company already registered limited liability and unlimited liability போகிறது. Section 19 subsidiaries cannot hold shares in the as per Section 19, no company shall by itself or through its nominees hold any shares in its holding company, and no holding company shall allot or transfer its shares to any of its subsidiary companies. Any such allotment or transfer of shares to a subsidiary company shall be void, provided nothing in the subsection shall apply to a case where the subsidiary holds a share as a legal representative of a deceased member of the holding company, where the subsidiary holds such shares as a trustee, where the subsidiary is a shareholder even before it becomes a subsidiary. However, the subsidiary referred to the preceding provision shall have the right to vote in the meeting only in respect of the shares held by it as a legal representative or a trustee, as referred in the clause A or B of the sale provision. As per section 19 of the Companies Act, no company shall by itself or through nominees, no company by itself or through its nominees hold any shares in the holding company, and no holding company shall allot or transfer any of its shares to the subsidiary company. Any such allotment of shares of the company shall be deemed to be void, provided nothing in this section shall apply to where the subsidiary company holds shares as a legal representative of the deceased member of the company, where the subsidiary holds such shares as a trustee, where the subsidiary has been a shareholder even before becoming its subsidiary. However, the subsidiary referred in the preceding provision have the right to vote in the meeting of the company only in the respect of shares held by it as a legal representative and as a trustee. Okay, service of document to the company to the members. First one, if a company, if a document may be served on the company or an officer thereof by sending it via registered post, speed post, courier, leaving at the registered office by means of electronic transmission. கம்பெனி வந்து நம்பருக்கு Next one, the section 21, authentication of documents, authentication of document proceeding and contracts. Who can authorize as per section 21 of a proceeding, a document or a proceeding require authentication by a company or contract made by or on behalf of a company, may be signed by a key manager person or an officer who is duly authorized by the board. Section 22, execution of deeds and the bill of exchange. Deeds and bill of exchange. As per section 22 of the Companies Act 2013, a company may authorize any person as its attorney to execute deeds on its behalf in any place, either in India or outside, either in or outside India, but a common seal should be affixed on his authority letter, or the authority letter should be signed by 2 directors of the company, or it should be signed by 1 director and the secretary. This authority may either be for any general, may be general for any deeds, or it may be for specific deed. A deed signed by such attorney on behalf of the company and under the common seal shall bind the company as it was made under the common seal. Okay, fine bro. Okay. 3. Incorporation of company. 4. MOA. 5. AOA. 6. 6 another section. Act to override MOA and AOA. First AOA, MOA adutha நான் தான் பெரிய பிடிங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஆக்ட் மேலே வந்துருக்கு 6th. ஓகே. 7 ஃபார்மேஷன் ஆஃப் அ கம்பெனி. 8 company formed for charitable purpose. 9 effect of registration. 10 effect of registration of MOA and OA. 10A commencement of certificate of commencement of business. 9C8 9C20A 10A 20A. Section 12 register office. 13 alteration of MOA. 14 alteration of AOA. 15 every alteration should be made in every copy. 16 central government or change of name. 16 another 16 17 company to serve 17 issue of MOA and AOA to requesting members. 18 conversion of from limited liability to unlimited liability. 19 subsidiary cannot hold shares in holding company. 20 service of documents by company and to the company, by company and to the company. 21 authentication of documents by KMP or person authorized by board of directors or key manager person. Next 21 and 22 execution of bill of exchange and deed shall be signed by 2 directors or by 1 director and the secretary or common seal. Super bro, முடிஞ்சு. அடுத்து என்ன எடுக்கலாம்? காஸ்டிங் எடுக்கலாமா இல்லை இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் எடுக்கலாமா? இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் ஆல்ரெடி கொஞ்சம் பார்த்துருக்கோம், காஸ்டிங் சுத்தமாக பார்க்கல. ஸோ காஸ்டிங் எடுத்துருவோம். என்ன சொல்கிறீங்க? யாராவது இருக்கீங்களா? இல்லை. குயிக் கவர் பிரேக் போய்ட்டு வந்துட்டு அப்படியே எடுத்துட்றேன். தேங்க்யூ. Okay, let's start back. நல்லா பெரிய விஷயம். ஓகே, ஸோ இன்னைக்கு டார்கெட் படி லா முடிச்சாச்சு, அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ் முடிச்சாச்சு. டேக்ஸு ஓரளவுக்கு தெரியும், ஏன்னா 2-3 நாளாக அது பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தேன். இருந்தாலும் நைட்டு உட்காந்து திரும்ப அந்த பேசிக் என்ன இதில் போட்டிருக்கோ அதை முடிச்சிடலாம், அது ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. இப்போ காஸ்டிங் எடுக்கலாம், சுத்தமாக ஓப்பனே பண்ணல. போன எக்ஸாம் முன்னாடி ஓப்பன் பண்ணி வச்சது, இப்போ திரும்ப ஓப்பன் பண்ணேன். பட்ஜெட்டு ஸ்டாண்டர்டு மார்ஜினல் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கா, அது பிரச்சனை இல்லை.
Compulsorily watch this mic introduction part.
Right, every attempt, this has been the case for the last 8 or 10 plus attempts. Every attempt, they generally just test this particular chapter for about 10 minutes. Now, before we get into this particular clock sheet chapter, now there are a few backgrounds that you need to understand before entering into this particular area. Now, our subject, cost and management accounting, broadly has three objectives. We have learned it. What are the three objectives? Guys, are you ready to participate? Come on, and once attending this module, like please, post your, yes, stock valuation and profit computation. Yes, guys, come on. Decision making and control. Right? Now, from the perspective of stock valuation and profit computation.
நம்ம கொஞ்சம் ஸ்பீடை இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணுவோமா?
Come on, guys. Come on, unmute. I don't have a problem. What I want you to do is yes, stock valuation and profit valuation. Yes, that's one. Decision making and control. Right? Now, from perspective of stock valuation and profit valuation, the costs can be classified into expired cost and unexpired cost. Right? Now, to understand what cost will expire, what cost will not, and expire, for this, you need to know what is a product cost and what is a PA cost. Right? And to know what forms part of product cost and what forms part of PA cost, you need to know what you mean by manufacturing, administrative, and selling and distribution expenses. Now, not right. I must give you a
So the product cost means a manufacturing cost which has been incurred for the product before selling and administration overheads. Period cost are those expenses which are incurred outside the factory or warehouse or factory, so which are not directly related to the production, but auxiliarily it needed to be done. So those costs are administrative overheads, selling overheads.
Product cost is what? Manufacturing cost, right? Now, what is manufacturing cost? Let's go components into it, right? Three components that form part of the product cost, and one is production overheads, POs. And then you have something called as period cost. Period costs are not considered purpose of stock valuation, right? And this period cost basically is nothing but AOH plus SO. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Right? This is a basic understanding that you need to have before you enter into something. Are you clear with this? Right? Now, one more thing. This period cost is that AOH and SO, it expires fully. What do you mean by expire? That is, it dies fully in the current period itself. So this entire amount is fully in the current period itself. Correct? Is there any amount of AOH or SO I carry forward the next year? No. Whereas, with respect to manufacturing cost, a portion of the manufacturing cost remains unexpired. What portion is that? To the extent of closing stock.
Closing stock. Okay. Yeah.
So here, I come to a conclusion by saying period cost will expire fully. Period cost will expire fully. Whereas the manufacturing cost, what happens? It expires only to the extent of cost of goods sold, and it remains unexpired to the extent of closing stock. Remains unexpired to the
That is why product cost is always an unexpected cost, and the period cost will always be an expected cost because of this one.
extent of the closing stock, and it expires only to the extent of cost of goods sold. And hence, we started off with this concept of expired cost and unexpired cost. To sum up what I've discussed now, expired cost means what? The cost that gets fully died, that fully dies the current year, that is fully dropped off against the current year, higher wrong. Whereas unexpired cost is the cost that escapes from the current year and gets carried forward the next year. The only unexpired cost is what? The manufacturing cost to the extent of closing stock. Or in other words, what expires is what? What expires is product cost expires to the extent of cost of goods sold. My period cost expires fully. What is the product cost? All the manufacturing cost, my price cost components plus my production overhead. What is my period cost? My period cost would be my administration overhead and selling overhead. Are you clear with this, guys? This is a very important introduction you need to know before even you enter into something, right? So basically, this is something that I discussed for 1.5 hours in a regular batch. So I try to condense it even for once, the benefit of everyone, right? Even if you are not attended a regular batch, I just wanted to set the concept of context, right? So this will act as a launching pad to enter into something. Are you clear with this, guys? Right? Now, one more thing that I want to tell you. Now, I just told you right now. As of now, what are the costs that we have considered? The cost incurred inside a factory, guys, yes. The cost incurred inside a corporate office. The cost incurred in a sales depot, right? Now, what about interest? What about dividend expense? These are also costs for me. What about taxes, income tax, right? Now, always remember, our subject costing considers only the costs that are incurred in these three areas. Are you clear with this? Interest, finance-related costs, dividend, income tax, they are not at all considered in our subject. Sir, what is this? Then our subject is incomplete. No, the profit reported by our subject is called as operating profit. Are you clear with this? It is called as operating profit, not my net profit, not my net profit. So here, from the sales, I adjust for all the costs that are related to my operations. I arrive at my operating profit. Operating profit is also known as EBIT. Are you clear with this? Right? From EBIT only, finance-related costs will be subtracted, which is a subject matter of discussion of financial management. Are you clear with this, guys? So here the ground rules are set, right? So they have clearly identified whose area is what. So your FM starts from the point where costing ends. Are you clear with this? So in costing, we do not consider any kind of non-operating expenses or non-operating income. The only income we consider is sales revenue, right? So rental income, dividend income, even not taken into consideration because our objective itself is not with respect to reporting the final profit or not. The reporting of profit to shareholders is actually the objective of financial accounting, not our cost and accounting. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? And one more thing I want to tell you. I told you that our subject has three objectives. The three objectives are stock valuation, profit computation, decision making, and control. Our subject does not have one objective. Our subject has three objectives, right? That's your financial accounting. You see, the objective is what? Prepare your financial statements, right? Your balance sheet, P&L, your cash flow statement, and present it to the outsiders, that is the end users of the financial statement. That the objective is different, right? Here our objective is completely different. We are not going to report or show our results to any outsiders. The entire subject of cost and management accounting is purely for internal purposes. Clear with this? We are not going to report this. In fact, we should not report because these are also confidential data. Just imagine you go to you go to a nearby shop and buy a pack of milk bikis and they are saying MRP is 10 rupees. Suppose Britannia has released that cost sheet. You'll be shocked to know that per packet they are making a profit of 6 rupees. Who knows? I'm just giving you a random example. If they have disclosed that per unit of product they are making, the cost is only 4 rupees, but they are selling it at selling price 10 rupees. Now what will you do? You will start a protest, right? First thing you will do is you block all the roads and you also take the protest cost Britannia to reduce the price. Obviously, the reason why I'm saying this is yes, costing is always for confidential information. It is meant only for internal purposes. That's why even if you see people start audits, they will not entertain. They will not entertain auditors to get to know about the internal costing. In depth, the extent is required for the audit. That's about it. That's purely internal matter. That's a business secret. If they let it out, then obviously So predominantly human beings. So what happens? Let's say you want to go abroad. Let's say in the US or somewhere. Now you can't directly do this like how we have done. So that is actually a process they follow. Right? Because initially when you enter, they do something called as a security check. Right? So in the security check area, what they do, the same we enter, but the human beings are classified into male and female. Correct? Yes, that's right. But here, male and female. Correct? After the security check is done, right? Everyone goes together. Then there's a place called the immigration. Right? If you're traveling abroad, the immigration in that country, you see, they are not bothered about your gender. What they are bothered about is actually whether you are an Indian citizen or foreigner. Right? Because the procedures for an Indian citizen and foreigner are different. Here it makes sense to classify the same human beings as Indian citizens and foreigners. Clear this? Right? Now after the immigration is done, finally you go to the boarding gate. Right? Boarding gate, there is a place where you actually enter the aircraft. There, the airline company staff will be there. The usual staff will be there. Right? So what they do is they are not bothered whether you are male or female. They are not bothered whether you are Indian citizen or foreigner. There, the basic of human beings will be classified as economy class, business class, and first class. Right? First class means they will give you a red carpet. Yes, they will assist you enough. Right? And business class means the carpet will still be there but no assistance. Economy class you get in the top. Right? Based on the money you pay, the respect will be you will be treated accordingly. Basically, guys, right? I'm just summarizing it so that you can write the point. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, so human beings are human beings. What is it you are saying in one place? You want to classify classes, manufacturing, your hyper selling. In another objective, you are saying you get the same class, the perspective of your fixed class, negative class. Look, here also they are all human beings. Based on the purpose you want to achieve, right? That classification becomes different. That is what I want to tell you here. Because the purpose of stock valuation and profit computation, the same cost needs to be looked at from the perspective of manufacturing, hyper selling. Yeah? Whereas if you are in a decision making area, you're using the concepts of costing, couple of decision making. Now look at the very same class as fixed and variable. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Then for the purpose of control, here again there's a classification called as control with uncontrolled. Right? That's not much of a numerical solving the particular subject. And we're seeing it in the time we are doing some cost. Clear with this, guys? But this entire subject revolves around the two types of cost classification. One is your manufacturing hyper selling. The other one is your variable and fixed. Are you clear with this, guys? You should know when the cost needs to be looked at from which perspective. Clear with this, guys? Right? That is about the introduction. That is about the introduction. So now let us get started into this particular cost sheet format. Now I don't know how many of you guys would have marked up the format cost sheet. Guys, let me tell you one thing. Marking up anything in subjects like costing and financial management is not even a sin. It is a crime. Because this entire statement that we had here, right? Mark my words. In the next few minutes, you yourself will be able to tell this entire format by yourself. No need to mark up even a single line item. That's my commitment. Why do you think you spend last 30 minutes? This is not something to just give you background alone. Now if you enter into this area, you will be able to appreciate it in a much better manner. And of course, you will be able to tell the format on by yourself. Are you clear with this, guys? There is a beautiful saying of economic living. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree. I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening axe. So if you have sometimes someone giving you time to perform a particular task, don't directly jump into the task. He says I will spend the 4 hours in sharpening the axe. I will do the preparation in such a manner that the execution will just take 2 hours or 6 hours. Clear? That should always be your approach. Right now, we saw this introduction. Now you yourself will see how this format cost sheet is going to clear with this, guys. Now let us get started into this format of cost sheet. Now what is this format of cost sheet basically? This cost sheet is nothing but a P&L account in an inverted format. It's a P&L account in a statement format. That's all. Clear with this, guys. So what they are saying, the first line item is called as direct material consumed. So how do you arrive at direct material consumed? Opening stock of raw material plus purchases minus closing stock. Fine. You get the direct material consumed and your direct labor and your direct expense. I told you, material, direct material plus direct labor plus direct expense is called as prime cost, right? So this add your production overheads, you get your gross works cost and opening closing WAP and all these things are there. So what is this? Why can't you only line items? Now, look at this. Look at this. Now guys, for you to understand the format of cost sheet, there is something called as flow of cost that you need to know. There's something called as flow of cost that you need to know. If you know this, automatically it's going to be a cakewalk. You need not even take efforts in the following. Here with this, guys, right? Now, I told you in a company there are broadly 3 locations. There is a factory, there is a corporate office, and there is a sales depot. Correct, guys? Now let us zoom into the factory. Let us enter into the factory. Inside the factory itself, there are further 3 locations. There are further 3 locations. What are the 3 locations in a factory? One is called as stores. Stores is a place where raw material is getting stored, right? Then you have a place called as a factory shop. Factory shop is a place where the machines are there. The raw material is getting fed into the machine. The processing happens, and raw material is converted into FG. Or in other words, here is where the work is in progress. Are you clear? And once raw material is converted to FG, now I will keep it in a warehouse. Are you clear with this? I will keep it in a warehouse. This is the place where my FG stock is stored. So broadly, when I say stock, there are 3 different types of stock. Correct, guys? Yes. Are you able to understand this? I have WIP and I have FG. Clear with this, guys? Right? Are you all able to follow this? No. No. Look at this. What are we trying to do? First, we are trying to calculate the total cost that we are incurring with respect to the production, right? So your total cost that you are incurring, right? To that add your profit, you will be arriving at the sales line. Correct, guys? That is what your format of cost sheet says. Arrive at the total cost, add profit, arrive at the sales. Clear with this? Now, how do we arrive at the cost? Now, simple. Now, this is your raw material area, right? This is your raw material area. Now, what happens? What happens? At the beginning of this particular year, I must be having some opening stock of raw material. Agreeing with me on this, guys? Yes. Yes. Right. Now, during this year, I will purchase some raw material also, guys? Yes. Right. I will make some purchases, right? So basically, if I add the 2, this is the total raw material available with me. Correct? Guys? Yes. No. Yes, guys. Right. You guys feel free to unmute yourself and participate, right? Because it means as I'm still in the recording mode. So when you guys come out of the recording mode, I'm recording. Please guys, unmute participate without problem. Background is this is why it's absolutely fine. You guys can unmute participate. Not very good. We're going to be very person. Guys, escaping one. Come on, guys. Just unmute yourself and participate. Okay. Now, opening stock of raw material plus purchases is going to be total stock available of raw material, right? Out of this, at the end of the period, I have some closing stock of raw material which is remaining unconsumed. Correct? So can I say the opening stock of material plus whatever I purchased is the total available minus whatever I didn't consume, right? This balancing figure is nothing but my raw material consumed. Correct? So total raw material available minus what I didn't consume is equal to raw material consumed. Correct, guys? Hello, guys? Yes, guys, clear this? Right? Right? Fine. Now, raw material consumed means what? From the stores area, it will be fed into my machine. Right? Right? Or other words, this raw material consumed will go here only to my WAP area. Guys, correct? Hello? Right? Fine. Right? So raw material consumed will enter here. Now, raw material, by magic, it will not be converted into energy. On top of this raw material, I need to spend the direct labor. I need to spend the direct expense, and I also need to spend production overheads. Correct, guys? Right? In a factory, whatever other manufacturing costs are also incurred. Correct? Right? All these things put together. All these things put together are the costs that I have incurred right now in this particular period. Guys, correct? Right? But wait, even in the WAP area, what happens? That could be an opening WAP. What do you mean by opening WAP? What do you mean by opening WAP? That is, some goods, some particular products, right? They were processed in the previous period, but the moment the previous period got over, still they were lying as a semi-finished finished product in the machine only. The balance processing will get completed in the current period. Right? This is opening the blade. So here also I can be having opening the blade. Similarly, I can also have closing the blade. What do you mean by closing the blade? I started the production. Right? But at the end of the current period, it didn't get fully completed. It got semi-completed and it's still lying inside the machine. Current is not possible. Right, guys? Yes. But otherwise, can I say? So these are the costs that I'm incurring in the current period. Right? Plus opening the blade, minus opening the blade. Can I say this is nothing but the total value of the completed production? Correct or not? Guys, yes. This is the total value of my completed production. Correct? So I call this as the cost of production. Cost of production means what? The value of goods that got produced in the current period. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Now, why will this enter into this completed units are FGs now? They will enter into my FG area. Guys, clear with this? Clear with this? They will enter into my FG area. Right? So here is where they will come. Right? In the FG area also, that could be an opening stock of FG. Right? So currently I have produced so many units. Right? Already. One second, I need these to go back down. Okay, by coming back to you guys. So here, cost of production is there. This is the current period units produced. Right? So now, all about this, at the beginning of the year also, that would be some units that I'm still having as an FG. So opening FG plus the current year units produced is going to be the total FG available for sale, guys. Right? Yes. Out of this, if I remove my closing FG, which means my unsold units, the balancing figure is nothing but my cost of goods sold. Correct, guys? Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Guys, are you all able to understand this? So here, my opening stock of FG plus my current year production is going to be my total goods available for sale. From that, you remove the goods unsold, you will get the cost incurred in respect of goods sold. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? Right? Yes, guys. Now, this cost of goods sold, right? This cost of goods sold is nothing but the expired portion of my manufacturing cost. That's why I told you right now, my manufacturing cost will expire only to the extent of costs. Correct, guys? To this, I will be adding my SOH, my AOH, and the SOH. If I do that, I will be getting my total cost of sales. Are you clear with this? Now, I know for some students who already seen the format, you might think that I have missed out a few line items. I will come to that. Please wait. Clear with this? This is exactly what the format says. Now you look at the format, you will understand. Now, that material consumed is how already calculated. Opening stock of raw material plus purchases minus closing stock. This is exactly what we saw here. Guys, yes. Right? You got your raw material consumed figure here. Yes, guys. Now,
Okay.
what you have further? To this, add your direct labor and add your direct expense. That's what we did here. Direct labor and direct expense. These three components are direct costs incurred in the factory. So you subtotal it and give the name called as prime cost. Clear with this, guys? Right? To this prime cost, you add what? You add your POH also. Clear with this? It is called as gross works cost. Works means what? Works means factory. Right? So you use the word gross factory cost or gross works cost. Anything works. Clear with this? So why is it called as gross? Because you are yet to adjust for opening and closing WAV. Right? So add your opening WAV, subtract your closing WAV. So add your opening WAV and subtract your closing WAV. You have something called as net works cost, or it is also known as factory cost. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? Right? Are you all clear with this? Right? Now, I know you must be having questions. So what are these line items? What are these line items? You just now told us that if at all there can be any costs inside the same factory, they will only be categorized under the four categories: direct material, direct labor, direct expense, and production overheads. Now, what are these line items that are separately mentioned? Now, guys, what I told you is any indirect cost incurred inside factory is called as what? Production overheads. Correct? Right? I still stand by it. It is production overheads. However, Institute actually came up with this new format about 8 years back, I think 6 or 8 years back. Before that, my highlight by all these things were not there because cost sheet as such, it is not guided by like something like Schedule 3. It is something that people can prepare based on what they feel is better. So what Institute did was from this production overheads, they separately took a few line items alone and they wanted to display them on the face of the cost sheet. Are you clear with that? That's all it is. Don't think it is something else. Look at what they have given. Quality control cost. What do you mean by quality control cost? The cost that you are incurring to check your quality product, your inspection related cost. Clear with this? Research and development cost. Basically, your research and development cost is nothing but your R&D expenditure. Right? Why you do R&D? So that you can produce it in a much better manner. You can either end up reducing your overall cost in the future or maybe the same cost you can increase your quality now. So R&D is also related to production. Right? Ideally, these are indirect costs. Can they be placed on a budget level? No, they cannot be placed on a budget level. However, what they have, that's why I said this is a part of the production overhead. But Institute has what they have done is they have taken these two line items separately, parked it on the face of the cost sheet. They wanted to display it on the face of the cost sheet. So one is quality control cost, then comes your R&D cost. The third one is administrative overheads related to production. Many students make a mistake here. This is not your corporate office expense. This is not your corporate office expense. Your corporate office expense is administrative overheads that is bundled, that is kept here separately. Clear with this? This is related to production. So can you give an example? Can you give an example? Let me tell you. In a factory, right? There could be different categories of worker. One guy is an assembly worker. Assembly worker. What does he do? He fits the doors of a car. Right? Any labor, any wages that I pay will fit into the category of direct wages. It's a prime cost of it. Clear with this? Now, this assembly worker has one boss. What is his name? Supervisor. His name is supervisor. What does this guy do? He keeps his hand like this and he just oversees the work of his subordinates. Right? Now, he also stands in the factory, but he doesn't work hands-on. Right? He just does overall supervision. Now, this guy, what amount I pay? Is it a manufacturing cost? Yes, plus incurred inside the factory. But I cannot call it direct cost. It is an indirect cost, but incurred inside the factory. I classify it as POH. Correct, guys? Now, this guy also has one boss. Right? That boss is not sitting in the corporate office. That boss is also sitting in the plant only, in the factory only. He could be a plant head. He could be a plant head. He will not even come out of his AC room. In this particular plant or factory itself, there will be one AC room where he will be sitting. That plant's decision he will be taking. The factory related decision he will be taking. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? So this is also indirect. Yes. This is also incurred inside the factory. Yes. But still, Institute wants you to categorize it separately. They want to give it a name called as administration overheads related to production. Are you clear with this, guys? If you do some, you will understand. Right? Administrative overheads related to production means what? This is not a general admin expense, not your board director's expense. That plant heads or that production manager's salary. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? AC room in a factory. Do you remember like that? Are you clear with this, guys? That's why I started off with the locations that are that inside a company. Guys, are you all able to follow this? Are you all able to follow this? Yes. Where are you get? Right? That one. And finally, you have something called as a packing cost also. Remember, packing cost is a primary cost. Only primary packing cost needs to come here. What do you mean by packing cost? Right? The cost that I incur to pack my products. But what do you mean by primary packing? Now, guys, packing cost can be of two types. Can be of two types. One is a primary packing. The other one is a secondary packing. Secondary packing. Wait, I will give you an example. Now, let's say you want to go and buy a bottle of Coke. Coke means Coca-Cola. Don't think anything else. I'm talking about Coca-Cola. Right? So when you want to buy a bottle of Coca-Cola, now you tell me guys, from the perspective of the company that manufactures Coca-Cola. Now, definitely that bottle that they give you, that pink bottle, plastic bottle, right? That comes under the category of primary packing. Meaning what? Without this primary packing, without this packing, the product can never reach a customer. It can never be sold. Are you clear with this? What can you go to the Coca-Cola factory and say you go and take this one? No, it's not going to happen. Right? Obviously, they need to be packing and give it what? Correct, guys? That's called primary packing. Primary packing forms part of your production cost. Whereas now, like this, there will be thousands of bottles, right? That needs to be transported to many of that distributed. What they do is they will have cartons. They will have cartons. These cartons are also packing costs only, but they are not essential for the product to be sold. They are used only to facilitate my distribution. Hence, the secondary packing cost will come under SOH, selling and distribution overheads. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? So technically speaking, the primary packing cost also forms part of production overheads, but our institute wants it to be mentioned as a separate line item on the face of cost sheet. So there are 4 line items that ICAI wants us to establish on the face of cost sheet. All these 4 line items are a part of production overhead only, but taken from that and mentioned on the face of cost sheet. Are you clear with this? What are the 4 line items for guys? One is QC cost, quality control cost, then comes your R&D cost, research and development, then administration overheads related to production. When I say production, remember that. AC room in the factory, and then your primary packing cost. Remember that. Clear this? Go for example. Right, guys? Clear this? 4 additions. And there's 1 addition. What is it? 1 addition. Credit for recoveries and scrap. Credit for recoveries and scrap. Basically, when you are doing production, there will be some wastage around. Guys, right? First one wastage will be there. Now, this wastage, if you're scrapping it off to a molded dealer, right? If you're receiving some scrap income, now the cost incurred in respect of the unit scrap is already incurred here. So if you receive any benefit out of that, that should go on technically speaking, all these line items are very much a part of your POH, but for presentation purpose, Institute wants us to present it on face of washing. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? Now, if you add all these things, you get what? Hello, you get cost of production, right? You get cost of production. That's the figure we got here, guys. Clear with this, right? Cost of production. To this, add your opening FD, subtract your closing FD. So add your opening FD, subtract your opening closing FD. You get what? COGS, the cost of goods sold. Correct, guys? Right? And now the goods have moved over to the factory. Directly, the two other costs are meeting. What are they? AOH and SOH. Add them both, AOH and SOH. You will get the total cost, or less cost of sales. Are you clear with this? From the cost of sales, you add your profit, you add the sales value. Guys, are you clear with this? Guys? Are you clear with this? Now, when you are telling when you want to remember the format of costing, don't remember it as a format. Remember it as a flow of cost. Are you clear with this? Right? So now, looking at this flow of costing, now tell me, guys, tell me the format of costing costs.
பிரேக்கை முடிச்சுட்டு வரேன்டா. மக்கள், ஒரு சிறிய இடைவேளைக்கு பிறகு மீண்டும் வருகிறேன்.